page 1 of Bhagavad. Okay, Hare Krishna. So I just want to make everyone aware that the connection here is unstable, and I'm still feeling unwell. I'm in hospital, but I'm going to try and present some sort of offering today for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and the devotees. If I go offline, please bear with me. If I can't finish the class within an hour, please bear with me. Okay, let's go to page 1, Bhagavad Gita as it is. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pradan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrinda Vrindeshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome again. So today we are on chapter 15. We're preparing for the holy month of Purushottam, which starts tomorrow. Hope everybody is nice and geared up for tomorrow, following last week's class. Okay, so let's go to, the request was to read from chapter number 15, which is entitled Purushottam. We can turn to chapter 15. For those of you who have your Gitas in front of you. Mataji, you want to read English quickly before we start? Shalina Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mata, I'm on it.
Yeah, okay.
I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desires of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatana Goswami, as well as Raghunatha Dasa and Raghunatha Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhara, Srivasa, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates, Sri Lalita and Vishaka. O my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desired trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls. I offer my obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhara, Sri Vasa, and all others in the line of devotion. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Shalina Mataji. So let's just do a quick opening then. Paramatma Prabhu, please lead for us. Just a short kirtan.
Hare Krishna Maji, sorry Maji, a general kirtan or any specific?
Yeah, just Maha Mantra, just 1-2 lines so we can get into class after that.
Oh.
Open with our pranam mantras. Yeah, thank you.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Vimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasyatari Satarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna ji, thank you.
Thank you, Paramatma Prabhu. Okay. So, I think let's just start now because my internet is so unstable and I don't want to lose time. Let me just share screen again. Okay, chapter 15, Bhagavad Gita, right? Right. Verse number 1. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Urdhvamulam Madaha Shakam Ashvatam Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Paranani Yastam Veda Saveda Ved. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here the Lord is speaking. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. After the discussion of the importance of Bhakti Yoga, one may question, what about the Vedas? It is explained in this chapter that the purpose of Vedic study is to understand Krishna. Therefore, one who is in Krishna consciousness, who is engaged in devotional service, already knows the Vedas. The entanglement of this material world is compared here to a banyan tree. For one who is engaged in fruitive activities, there is no end to the banyan tree. He wanders from one branch to another, to another, to another. The tree of this material world has no end, and for one who is attached to this tree, there is no possibility of liberation. The Vedic hymns meant for elevating oneself are called the leaves of this tree. The tree roots grow upward because they begin from where Brahma is located, the topmost planet of this universe. If one can understand this indestructible tree of illusion, then one can get out of it. Further on the purport, this process of extrication should be understood. In the previous chapters, it has been explained that there are many processes by which to get out of material entanglement. And up to the 13th chapter, we have seen that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the best. Now, the basic principle of devotional service is detachment from material activities and attachment to transcendental service of the Lord. The process of breaking attachment to the material world is discussed in the beginning of the chapter. The beginning of this chapter being chapter 15, right? The root of this material existence grows upwards. This means that it begins from the total material substance, from the topmost planet of the universe. From there, the whole universe is expanded with so many branches representing the various planetary systems. The fruits represent the results of the living entities' activities, namely religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Now, there is no ready experience in this world of a tree situated with its branches down and its roots upward, but there is such a thing. The tree can be found beside a reservoir of water. We can see that the trees on the bank reflect upon the water with their branches down and roots up. In other words, the tree of this material world is only a reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. This reflection of the spiritual world is situated on desire, just as a tree's reflection is situated on water. Desire is the cause of things being situated in this reflected material light. One who wants to get out of this material existence must know this tree thoroughly through analytical study. Then he can cut off the relationship. Okay, that's purport. There's one more set here. This tree, being the reflection of the real tree, is an exact replica. Everything is there in the spiritual world. The impersonalists take Brahman to be the root of the material tree, and from the root, according to Sankhya philosophy, come Prakriti, Purusha, then the three gunas, then the 5 gross elements, Pancha Mahabhuta, then 10 senses, Dashendriya, mind, etc. In this way, they divide up the whole material world into 24 elements. If Brahman is the center of all manifestations, then this material world is a manifestation of the center by 180 degrees. And the other 180 degrees constitute what? Spiritual world. This material world is perverted reflection. So the spiritual world must have some variegatedness, but in reality, the Prakriti is the external energy of the Supreme Lord, and the Purush is the Supreme Lord himself. And as explained in Bhagavad Gita, since this manifestation is material, it is temporary. A reflection is temporary, for it is sometimes seen and sometimes not seen. But the origin from whence the reflection is reflected is eternal. The material reflection of the tree has to be cut off. When it is said that a person knows the Vedas, it is assumed that he knows how to cut off attachment of the material world. If one knows that process, he actually knows the Vedas. One who is attracted by ritualistic formulas of the Vedas is attracted by the beautiful green leaves of the tree. He does not exactly know the purpose of the Vedas. The purpose of the Vedas, as disclosed by the personality of Godhead himself, is to cut down this reflected tree and attain the real tree of the spiritual world. Okay, devotees, very long purport. Okay, and a lot to digest as well. This whole concept of the banyan tree. The banyan tree is a very auspicious, sacred tree in Vedic culture. And Krishna very nicely uses this analogy of the banyan tree in relation to perverted understanding or reflection of the spiritual world. So what essentially is happening here is, if you have a tree growing on the banks of a river, we're looking at the tree. We see that the roots are at the bottom. There's a branch, the trunk, then the branch, twigs, leaves, etc. And the tree grows like in a normal fashion upwards, up towards the sky. But that tree on the bank of a river, if you look at its reflection, it looks upside down, isn't it? It looks like the roots are up, and the branches are down. That's the analogy here now that Krishna is using. And Krishna is saying here that one who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Because, because that banyan tree that has its roots upwards and its branches downwards and whose leaves have leaves of Vedic hymns. So if you know that tree, then you are the knower of the Vedas. But what's most important here, we're reading through the purports of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada is saying here that we should cut down this tree of this perverted tree of material existence. This material reflection is what we should be cutting. So let's go on further now to see what Prabhupada means by that. What is Krishna trying to say to us? So I want this one more verse to be read, right? Then we're going to go on to some slides and just sort of try and break down the different parts of the explanation in slide format. See if we can get a little better understanding. So who would like to read this verse, please? Verse number 2, 15:2. Anybody?
I can read. I can read. I'll read.
Thank you. Thank you.
Must I read the
Yes,
the
please.
whole
Read the Sanskrit.
thing? Okay.
Read the.
Okay.
You can read the whole
Allow-
thing. Read the whole thing. Everything.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Adash Kurvam prastratas tasya shaka guna pravrita vishaya pravala adascha mulani anusantadani karmanubhadhini manusha loke. The branches of this tree extend towards and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has its roots going down, and these are bound to be the fruitive actions of human society. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The description of the banyan tree is further explained here. Its branches spread in all directions. In the lower parts, they are variegated manifestations of living entities, human beings, animals, horses, cows, dogs, cats, etc. These are situated on the lower branches of on the lower parts of the branches, whereas on the upper parts are higher forms of living entities, the demigods, Gandharvas, and many other high species of life. As a tree is nourished by water, so this tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. Sometimes we find that a tract of land is barren for want of sufficient water, and sometimes the tree is green. Similarly, where particular modes of material nature are proportionally greater in quantity, the different species of life are manifested accordingly. The twigs of the tree are considered to be the sense objects. By development of the different modes of nature, we develop different senses, and by the senses we enjoy different varieties of sense objects. The tips of the trees are the senses, the ears, nose, eyes, etc., which are attached to the enjoyment of different sense objects. The twigs are sound. Formed and suffering and sense enjoyment. The tendencies towards piety and impiety are considered to develop from these secondary roots which spread in all directions. The real root is from Brahmalok, and the other roots are in the human planetary systems. After one enjoys the results of virtuous activities in the upper planetary systems, he comes down to this earth and renews his karma or fruitive actions for promotion. This planet of human being is considered the field of activities. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna. Okay, so there is a slide here based on the purport that we just read, right? See a picture of a tree with branches. See all these different branches here, right? So what Prabhupada is saying, what Krishna is saying, there are different branches. You get higher branches, you get lower branches. So the lower branches are lower life forms. In the lower life forms, you'll get humans, you get animals, you get plant life, water life, all these kind of different life forms. The higher branches, they are demigods, Gandharvas, all these celestial beings belong to the higher branches. The higher branches represent rather the higher planetary beings, right? Then he says, just like the tree is nourished by water, for a tree to grow, we have to nourish it, right? It needs water, it needs sunlight, etc. So if you nourish the tree by water, likewise, this tree, banyan tree that is being used here in this analogy now, is nourished not by water, but it's nourished by the three modes of material nature. What are the three modes of material nature? Nature of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Right? These three modes of material nature nourish this banyan tree. So wherever the material mode is proportionately greater in quantity, that life form is predominant in accordance with that nature. So in other words, if there's predominance of, say, the mode of ignorance, then you will find life forms that fall into the category of the mode of ignorance predominantly present in that part of. I don't mean physically a tree now, but in different parts of our existence, this material world. So mode of ignorance, we can associate with that, right?
Hare Krishna, sound check. Maharaj, are you still there? Hare Krishna. Okay, Maharaj has internet connection. We'll wait a minute for her. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Hare Krishna Paramatma Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Shall I just continue reading the English of 15, 3, 4, 5 and just continue till Mataji arrives?
Yes, Maharaj, please do. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll start at Bhagavad Gita 15, chapter 15, verse 3. I'll just read the English. The real form of this tree is not perceived in this world, neither its beginning, nor end, nor its continued existence.
All right. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mata, welcome back.
Sorry, man, it's very bad connection here in this area. Okay, but we're back. We're back.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't know where I cut off, but I was discussing the slide here. Can everybody see the slide? Am I sharing it?
No, you're not sharing as yet.
I'm not sharing it. Okay. Okay, so we were discussing this banyan tree, right? I'm just going to try and share the slide again. Hold on. Let's just pray it can take us for another at least 10 minutes. Okay. Can we see now?
Yes, thank you.
Right. So just as the tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature, that's where we were talking, right? Just as a tree is, nourished by water, this banyan tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. And wherever there's a predominance of a particular type of mode of material nature, that kind of life form will be present. That's what is being said in this purport. So you get lower branches and higher branches. The lower branches are predominantly in the mode of ignorance. We have human life, and even lower than that, we get animal life, aquatic life. Higher branches, there's predominance of the demigods, the Gandharvas, higher planetary system. So that understand that in that section is predominated by the mode of which material nature? The mode of goodness, because that's a higher planetary system, the higher branches. Right? So that was that part of the purport. Then in the purport, Prabhupada goes on to speak about the twigs, the aspects of the twigs. He says the twigs represent the twigs on the branches, inputs, these little things here. They represent objects, sense objects. Sense objects are like sound, form, touch. Those are sense objects. So those twigs represent sense objects. Now, development of different modes being the modes of goodness, passion, ignorance, three modes of material, right? So development of different modes give rise to development of different senses. Hence, different enjoyments means, hence you enjoy differently. Depending on what senses you are developing, you will enjoy accordingly. Now, this means that obviously, the more you enjoy, what does that mean? The more you're enjoying now on different levels, what does that mean? It means that you're getting more attached. You're getting more attached. So these twigs, these various twigs, are different sense objects. Right? And we are using our senses now to enjoy those sense objects. And that means attachment, more attachment. Then the purport goes on to talk about the tips of the branches, the very tip, right? So the tips of the branches here are the actual senses. Example, talking of our human body now, we have the ears, the nose, the eyes. What do we have the senses for? Get in touch with the sense objects. The sense objects being the twigs that's represented on this screen now, right? So we use our noses, our ears, our eyes, and all of that to get to the tips, which are represented by the tips of the branches. So these different things are attached to different sense objects. Okay, so an extract from the purport says here, the subsidiary roots are attachments and aversions, which are byproducts of different varieties of suffering and sense enjoyment. Piety and impiety arise from here. So basically what's happening here is, as we use each sense, like our ears, eyes, nose, tongue, all of that, and engage it in different sense objects, what results from that? Karma, isn't it? Karma will arise from that because we're now engaging our senses to perform activities. We know that actions bind us. Actions bind us to this world. It binds us to reaction, whether it's good or whether it's bad. We'll have to suffer the consequences, pious or impious. So you see how this banyan tree is laid out so nicely for us. What a nice example. It's our lives, our bodies, our senses, this material world is being likened to this banyan tree. Therefore, now we go back to this purport, and very importantly, highlighted here in red, Prabhupada is telling us the real root is from Brahmalok, and other roots are in human planetary systems. After one enjoys the results of virtuous activities, that's your good karma, in the upper planetary systems, you're like your heavenly planets, he comes down to this earth and renews his karma of fruitive activities for promotion. This planet of human beings is considered the field of activity. So that's why, if we go up another slide, what Prabhupada is telling us here, he's telling us here that the material reflection of the real tree has to be cut off. So this whole thing we were discussing here, this banyan tree, the branches, the twigs, the tips of the branches, even the roots, everything has to be cut off because it is only a reflection of the spiritual world. In a nutshell, in these two verses. So we have to cut it off. And then how do we cut it off? How do we cut it off? That's the important question.
Devotional service.
Yes, correct. So, because if we go here, back to Prabhupada's purport on the top, he even mentioned that in one of his lines here. Here, the very first verse, he says here, the purpose of Vedic study is to understand Krishna. Therefore, one who is in Krishna consciousness, who is engaged in devotional service, already knows the Vedas. The entanglement of this material world is compared to a banyan tree. So this entanglement, this repetitive cycle of birth and death, is being caught up in this material world, is likened to this banyan tree. Therefore, Prabhupada says, and Krishna says, you have to cut it off. This material reflection of the banyan tree. It's a perverted reflection and has to be cut off. Okay. So I can manage to do the 2 verses today, devotees. I can manage to do that, and maybe we can, I know there was also a request for to do 1 Ashtakam today, which I will do in preparation for Purushottam month, which starts tomorrow. And following last week's class, I hope that everybody is up ready in gear to follow this beautiful month of Purushottam for the pleasure of the Lord. And we will do 1 Ashtakam. I think a few Ashtakams are posted on our chat. We can listen to those from tomorrow. Try and listen to all. 1 every day or all 3 every day, and offer your lamp as well. And maybe re-listen to the class last week, do some reading of Purushottam month, speak on the glories of Purushottam. That will be very nice. It will be very beneficial. Okay, so before we start the third Ashtakam, do you have anything to share? Any realizations? Nice to read this chapter 15 in this month as well. Right? Because we have to understand what our position is in this world. We have to understand that it's temporary. This is material world, and we have to cut off this perverted reflection of the banyan tree, thereby cutting off material ties. That's what it is. And go back to Purushottam, Him Lord. So by reading the chapter 15, it'll serve as a nice reminder and nice purification on our spiritual advancement in this month of Purushottam. Okay. Thank you. Any realizations? And then we can sing Ashtakam. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Can everybody hear me?
Okay,
Hare
yeah,
Krishna,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Yeah.
We can hear you. Thank you for a lovely
Thank you.
class. We can move on to the Ashtakam because I think
Yeah.
you also need your rest, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Okay. I don't have too much of a singing voice, and but I'm going to try. I'm going to play it softly in the background because I've got a nice ashtakam that's saved here, and I'm going to present the lyrics on, share the lyrics on screen here. I managed to download a copy quickly. Let's go share again. Can everybody see that now? Starting from the top, right? Raje Prasiddham.
Yes, we can see that. Thank you.
Okay, right. We can sing. We can sing. Prasiddham Navadita Choram Gopagananam Chatukula Choram. Everyone. Raje Prasiddham Navanita Choram Gopagananam Chatukula Choram. अनेक जन्म चिता पाप चोरम चोराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि अनेक जन्म चिता पाप चोरम चोराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि चिराधिकाय हृदयस्य चोरं नवं बुधा श्यामलाकान्तिचोरम् काय हृदयस्य चोरं नवबुधा श्यामलाकान्तिचोरम् पादश्रितानां च समस्तचोरं चोराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि पादश्रितानां च समस्तचोरं चोराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि आकिञ्चने कृत्य पादश्रितं या करोति भिक्षुं पतिगेहहीनम् आकिञ्चने कृत्य पादश्रितं या करोति भिक्षुं पतिगेहहीनम् ओ भीषण चौरयेत्रिक् दृष्टश्रुतो वा न जगत्रयेऽपि केनाप्यहो भीषण चौरयेत्रिक् दृष्टश्रुतो वा न जगत्रयेऽपि यदापि नापि हारत्य शेषं गिरिप्रसारणपि पापरासिन् यदीयनामापि हारत्य शेषं गिरिप्रसारणपि पापरासिन् आश्चर्यरूपननो चोदयेत्रिक् दृष्टश्रुतो वा न माया कदापि ननो चोदयेत्रिक् दृष्टश्रुतो वा न माया कदापि दानं च मानं च तातेन्द्रियाणि प्राणश्च हृत्वा मम सर्वमेव दानं च मानं च तातेन्द्रियाणि प्राणश्च हृत्वा ममेव प्रालायसे कृतदुर्धृत्य चोरा त्वं भक्तिदाम्नासि माया निरुद्ध प्राणश्च क्रोध्य चोरा त्वं भक्तिदाम्नासि माया निरुद्ध छिन्नत्सि घोरं यमापाशबन्धं भिन्नत्सि भीमं भवापाशबन्धं छिन्नत्सि घोरं यमापाशबन्धं भिन्नत्सि भीमं भवापाशबन्धं Chinnatsi sarvasya samasta bandham nevatmano bhakta kritam tu bandham. Chinnatsi sarvasya nevatmano bhakta kritam tu bandham. Manmanase tamasarashi ghore Karagrahe dukkamaye nibbadha. Manmanase tamasarashi ghore Karagrahe dukkamaye nibbadha. Labhasya he chora hare chiraya Svachora doso chitam eva dandam. Chora hare chiraya Svachora doso chitam eva dandam. Praji prasitham navanida choram Choragraganyam purusham namami. Karagrahe vasa sada hitye madhiye Madbhakti pasha dhrita bandhana nischalasan. Tvam Krishna he pralaya, Tvam Krishna he pralaya koti sattatantarepi Sarvasya chora hitaya nahi mochayami. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Chor Ashtakam ki Jai. Hey devotees, so that was the Chor Ashtakam. Everybody still with me?
Yes, we hear.
Yes, we am.
Okay. All right, okay. So you can read the meaning of it. Okay, maybe we should just read the meaning quickly so we know what we did. Right. I'm going to
Yes, please,
go
Mataji.
through it. Okay, translation from the first stanza. I offer my respectful obeisances to that foremost of thieves, who is famous in Raja as the butter thief and who steals the gopis' clothes, and who, for those who take shelter of him, steals the sins which have accrued over many lifetimes. I offer my respectful obeisances to the foremost of thieves, who steals Srimati Radhika's heart, who steals the dark luster of a fresh rain cloud, and who steals all the sins and sufferings of those who take shelter of his feet. He turns his surrendered devotees into paupers and wandering, homeless beggar. Alas, such a fearsome thief has never been seen or heard of in all three worlds. Mere utterance of his name purges one of a mountain of sins. Such an astonishingly wonderful thief I have never seen or heard anywhere. O thief, having stolen my wealth, my honor, my senses, my life, and my everything, where can I turn to? I have caught you with the rope of my devotion. Okay. Sorry. You cut the terrible noose of Yamaraj, sever the dreadful noose of material existence, and you slash everyone's material bondage, but you are unable to cut the knot fastened to your own loving devotees. O stealer of my everything, O thief, today I have imprisoned you in this miserable prison house of my heart, which is very fearful due to the terrible darkness of my ignorance. And there, for a long time, you will remain receiving appropriate punishment for your crimes of thievery. O Krishna, thief of my everything, the noose of my devotion remaining forever tight, you will continue to reside in this prison house of my heart, because I will not release you for millions of aeons. Isn't that beautiful? Huh? So that was the meaning of what we sang now. Isn't that beautiful, devotees?
It's very beautiful. Very beautiful.
So you all got the copies. Please sing it every day and read the English meaning of it, and you'll understand. The writer of this Ashtakam is such a great devotee. Look at the words. Thank you, Krishna, that I will keep you caged in this prison heart of my heart. And that's the mood that we should have. And you sing this in Purushottam and pray to Krishna to break all this material attachment and just steal your heart away. That's what we want ultimately, to get out of this material cycle of birth and death, to cut off this banyan tree that is a false representation of the spiritual world. So therefore, we encouraged and recommended by the acharyas to sing these ashtakams, offer that lamb. And importantly, to read this chapter 15, which speaks about this banyan tree and this material attachment. Is that okay for today? Can we have a quick one line from each devotee? I'd like to hear all your voices. Kadruta Mataji.
Hare Krishna, dear Mataji. Thank you very much for your dedication. Wishing you quickly recovery. I am very impressed by this bhajan, very nice, this Ashtakam, and how Krishna is present in our heart, and we must keep him in our hearts, and we must cut all entanglement from this material world by devotional service, by loving devotional service. And banyan tree, of course, is just a reflection of the spiritual world, the aim of our life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Kadruta Mataji. Who's next? Dean Prabhu?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your dedication, and I want to wish you a speedy recovery. And yeah, thank you so much. This was quite an eye opener. So it's so important. I agree with the first Mataji that we need to keep Krishna in our heart if we want to attain spiritual enlightenment. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Dean Prabhu. Shalina Mataji. Shalina.
Hare Mataji, I just want to thank you for your absolute dedication to our class. Today was an outstanding example, and we can really learn from you and the way you so dedicated to teach all of us, and we really appreciate it. And in the spirit of Purushottam Mass, I'm going to try and download the Astakam on a MP3 and share it with everyone, so it'll be easier to
Wonderful.
listen.
Wonderful. Thank you for that kind service.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Hare Krishna. But now, I don't take any credit for anything, but thank you, Shalina Mataji, for your kind sentiments. It's all glory to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada has sacrificed everything for us. And it is up to us to read and understand, read and try and understand what he has given to us. We have to do this with continuity, just as gratitude to Srila Prabhupada. We are quite insignificant in the whole picture. Srila Prabhupada has led by example. Yes, but thank you, Shalina Mataji. Veronica Mataji.
Hare Krishna, my dear. Yes, I wish you a very speedy recovery. And this is a true testament to your dedication and your love for Srila Prabhupada and his devotees. And may Lord Krishna and Mother Radharani grant you good health and supreme bliss and joy. And thank you so much for coming today. And from the bottom of my heart, I wish you well. And we really didn't want you to come on today because we wanted you to rest. But it shows us your true spirit and your true love.
No,
Hare
that's enough. Thank you, Veronica Mataji. We all have that spirit. You all have that spirit. That's why you all are here. Okay, who's next? Anybody else wants to? Please share about the class today, not about me. Who's this? George Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Please accept
Krishna.
my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Glories.
Yeah, I would say, it's only time when actually things go to heart is when you actually go and actually read the meanings of most of the songs, and that's when you actually can realize what are you actually singing and how special it is. And that's actually when it actually sings in your heart, and then you
Yes.
realize what you actually were singing the whole time. Yeah, I can actually relate to it because I also went and go check out the meanings of all the songs when we do from Mangalat, and yeah, most of the songs got a very nice meaning and in such depth. And yeah, it's very nice. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Is George Prabhu, are you George Prabhu from Santon?
Yes, that's me.
Ah, so nice. How are you? I hope you're keeping well. You know who I am. Huh?
Hi, Mataji, to be honest
Okay,
with you,
we'll discuss after the
I've
recording.
so many
I don't know if you
people
can
I
put
know.
face to name. We met recently in Santon for the Rath Yatra. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Haribol.
Haribol. Small world. Okay. Who's next? Paramatma Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you. I think I'm only going to echo what the other previous people said about your dedication, and we really admire your effort in putting, and also at this moment you are obviously in hospital, and so we're even more appreciative of your effort.
Okay. No, Prabhu, not me.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Prabhupada and the class.
Yeah.
Please.
No, Maji, I can't think of anything else to ask. I just want to say thank you so much for your dedication.
Okay.
Thank you, Maji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, Bharti Riyaz, Prabhu. Anything from your side on this banyan tree and what we've discussed?
Yeah, it's very interesting about the discussion today. Actually, it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
And this is a lot of loaded information, and
Yeah.
but something that we can reflect on how the tree and how it reflects on us, and how it reflects on our existence as human beings, and how we interact with the material world, and how it can impact us in a positive or negative way.
Yeah.
But I think what I took out from it is that we have to. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress, and we've got to constantly strive to improve ourselves.
Yes.
And I think
Correct.
that's an important thing.
Yeah.
And also, it's good to hear that you're on the stream. I actually didn't expect you to be on, but thanks for that. It makes the class better when you're on. But rest well, and we'll see you at the next one. Take care.
Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Vijay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for considering my request for the Ashtakam, even though you're
Absolute
not well.
pleasure. No, thank you. Thank you for requesting
Also,
it. Everybody benefited, including me.
thank you so much, Mataji.
Sean Prabhu. Anything from your side? Sean Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Before we conclude,
Oh, sorry, there's my microphone.
is this our Sean Prabhu from Westville Namahata?
From Westville. Hare
Oh,
Krishna.
okay. Thanks for joining. You have anything to share?
Well, I'm sorry I've missed a lot of your services. But I've just moved into a new place, and I'll be around a lot more. I think the banyan tree is a beautiful example for Purushottam month of
Yeah.
I see there's one in the Botanic Gardens,
Yes, that's right.
but
Yeah.
unfortunately there's no water around it. But I think I'll go there and meditate with it.
Yeah.
And decide how I'm gonna approach Purushottam.
Yes. Oh, that's
in my new
wonderful.
space.
Yeah.
It's
So good.
nice to,
Go there to
yeah.
that tree and try and take in and absorb what we've discussed in class. Take your Bhagavad Gita, read through the
Yeah.
first 1 or 2 verses, and try and understand and do some chanting there. That'll be very
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Krishna will
Yeah.
help you break this
Krishna,
material
yeah.
ties. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right,
I
Sean.
wish
Thank
you well
you.
as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so now we are on to Nishingadev Pranams. Veronica Mataji, if you'd like to lead, then we can conclude today's class and resume next week Did we cover everybody? Did everybody get a chance to talk? I have missed anybody out? If I have, please do indicate. Want to say anything? If not, we'll go to Nashingadev Pranams. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So I'm going to share again. I'm going to project the words of our pranams. Right. Go on, Veronica Mataji.
Okay. Shinkadev Pranam Ki Jai. Namaste Narashingaya. Namaste Narashingaya. Praladala Tadayene. Praladala Tadayene. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. Shilaptankanakalaye. Shilaptankanakalaye. Ito nishimha parito nishimho. Ito nishimha parito nishimho. Yato yamitato nishimha. Yato yamitato nishimha. Ahe nishimho iteya nishimho. Dahe nishimho iteya nishimho. Nishimham madim sharala. Nishimham madim sharanam prapade. Tavakara kamala kamatut Dalita Danuvringa Kesha Harirupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tavakara kamala hari nakamatutta shinga Dalita hiranyakashipu danuvringa Keshavadrita narahari rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Oh Nishingadev 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 Jayo Lakshmi Nishingadev Lakshmi Nishingadev Lakshmi Nrsimha Jayo Lakshmi Nrsimha Jayo Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Jayo Bhakta Prahlad Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Jayo Prabhupada Prabhupada Deen Shri Pranam Ki Jai, Purushottam Mass Ki Jai.
Thank you, Veronica Mataji. Om Nama
Thank
Om
you.
Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivargacharya Stotra. His Divine Grace Abhechara Nararinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivargacharya Stotra Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Cham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham, Mathura Dham, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, Pandharpur, Arvadi, Kurukshetra, Ayodhya, Dwarika Dham ki jai, Shri Ganga Mai ki jai, Yamuna Mai ki jai, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi Maharani ki jai, Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda ki jai, Nand Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the Simul devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the Simul devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the Simul devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Vanchikalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, devotees. Let's observe Purushottam month from tomorrow in a very joyful manner. And I wish you all everything of the best. Until next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you.